Hi, my name is Jane Meredith. I'm one of the authors of this book, Magic of the Pearl Pentacle, along with Gede Parma. And also, there's actually 10 contributing writers who also have parts written in the book. And today I'm going to be reading to you from the law section. This is a piece that Theo and I wrote together in the main essay. And law is always an interesting topic. And part of our essay covers human laws and our relationship to those things. And then this part of the essay, which is kind of from halfway through, covers what we might call natural law, is often called natural law. Laws have always been something humans sought to observe, understand, and describe in order to make sense of the world. We need to understand the laws of the animals and plants we are dependent on, of the seasons we exist within, and the functioning of our human bodies. From philosophical as much as scientific perspectives, and the two meet and run parallel, we want to understand the laws of why we are here, how we got to be us, and what's going on around us in the solar system, the galaxy, and the universe. What are these laws that we are subject to? The whole scientific endeavour of humans, all the history of it that we know or can imagine, has been dedicated to discovering the laws that govern our existence and the reality we know, as well as the origins of the universe. These laws are not decided by ourselves or those who study them. Instead, through painstaking work of hypothesis, observation, experiment, and reasoning, they are pieced together and proven or revealed, sometimes only partially, until the next hypothesis evolves. In A Universe from Nothing, Lawrence Krauss states, I was brought up on the idea that the goal of science was to explain why the universe had to be the way it is and how that came to be. In other words, science, and I, Jane Meredith, would add, philosophical inquiry, is directed towards discovering and describing law. In the preface to his book, Krauss explains the three key principles of science and scientific ethos are: 1, follow the evidence wherever it leads; 2, if one has a theory, one needs to be willing to try and prove it wrong as much as prove it right; and 3, the ultimate arbiter of truth is experiment. These are the laws of scientific inquiry. All of our descriptors, formulae, charts, and experiments are designed to explain not how we wish the world was, not usually how it might be at some future point or under different circumstances, but how it is. The periodic table of elements is a motif of this concept. Maps of the Earth's surface, of the night sky, of the human body are drawn and redrawn as we continue to discover the details of the law. We postulate mathematical equations of energy, the speed of light, the planet's orbits. Experiments are conducted in labs and backyards and out in the stretches of dark space as humans seek to discover traces of the oldest galaxies, reading imprints left over from the hypothetical Big Bang. Humans search for microorganisms that might eat plastic littering our seas. We seek to cure cancer, discover why Christmas beetles are disappearing, track and learn and understand 1,000 things. The law. All of nature offers us this without ceasing, a second-by-second reading and enactment of the law, of that which is, leading to our understanding of that which must be. Humans love to imagine we're all so different from each other, each one utterly unique and almost incomparable to the others. Yet, take a look around. Although each red cedar is slightly different than every other red cedar, none are actually identical. They are all similar enough that without much difficulty on meeting a red cedar we've never seen before, we can recognize it. Ah, a red cedar. I can easily imagine that watching each new baby paddy melon is quite distinct to its mother, but watching them on the lawn, it's not really that distinguishable to me from all the others. So with a tawny frogmouth, a dianella, a strangler fig tree. They're not that different from all the other tawny frogmouths, dianellas, etc. And only rarely are the differences between them the important factors. If this is so for red cedars, paddy melons, strangler figs, in fact, for every species that we could name, how could it not be true for humans? We are all fundamentally human. And so it follows that all of our differences from each other are minor and usually not what's important. Watching the paddy melons or red cedars, I can easily see that they follow what could be called a red cedar law or paddy melon law. That is, it's impossible for them to do or be anything outside of what is a red cedar or a paddy melon. They are the living law of red cedar, of paddy melon. So then, it must be for humans. How could we ever act outside of the law of what it is to be human? We cannot suddenly fly or breathe water. We cannot give birth to our babies in eggs or hibernate or spin cocoons around our bodies to dissolve all our cells within. Fire also follows the law of fire. The winds, tides, moon, and tectonic plates follow the laws, their own laws, and the laws that govern where they intersect. A wildfire that runs rampant and burns down forests and human dwellings, takes the lives of animals, plants, insects, birds, still is following the law. Not just the law of what's possible, but the laws governing its nature. We say that humans are unusual in having the capacity to act with cruelty or make choices or destroy our own habitat, but other species do have those capacities. Some dolphins are judged to be mean or violent by humans in their behavior towards other dolphins, but we don't imagine that those ones are outside the bounds of what it is to be a dolphin. When the numbers of a species gets out of control, it can result in the destruction of its own habitat, regardless of the impact this might have on any future generations, just as we are busy doing. And while human free choice might be a vexed concept, believing ourselves superior to the rest of the natural world, any animal or even insect makes choices all the time. This flower or that. To stay perched on this branch or fly off somewhere else. To flee that loud noise or decide it's no threat just yet and remain. We like to imagine that our own choices have more volition than that of an insect, that we are not bound by the same constraints that others are. But that's ignoring the evidence. It's true that humans make errors and are capable of what we designate as evil. Therefore, this potential for evil thoughts and actions must be within the law of being human, or it would not be possible. Early cultures and their mythologies try painstakingly to contextualize the origins of human evil, or evil within humans, as well as to steadfastly implement human agreed upon laws that mimic or reflect the greater natural law. These help hold the boundaries and contain or limit that potential of human evil. The laws also impose agreed upon restrictions and punishments for those who deliberately, and sometimes even mistakenly, break them. This is one of the central theses in Indigenous law, as addressed by both Tyson Yunkaporta in Sand Talk, How Indigenous Thinking Can Save the World, and Marcia Langton and Aaron Korn in Law, The Way of the Ancestors. So that's an extract from the law essay, I guess, in this book. The law section in this book, the book's mainly in 5 sections with, beginnings and endings as well. This law section also contains, as well as that essay, 4 different rituals and processes or activities. It also contains a personal response to the collision of colonial and Indigenous law, and a transcribed interview with Starhawk about meeting the law in a variety of ways. So, I hope that you're interested to read more. And the book is called Magic of the Pearl Pentacle. It's published by Llewellyn in 2025, and you can obviously buy it online or order it into any bookstore. Thanks for listening.